So I think the easiest way to sum up hula is that hula is the living art form of our Hawaiian language. Because without an understanding, an ike of Hawaiian language, there is no hula. It is the stories of our ancestors from the time of migration, as our ancestors migrated through Polynesia, and hula is the means that we bring those stories and that poetry to life. Aloha, my name is Melia Lobenstein-Carter, and we're here at Wa'ahila, Kalaipohaku in Kaimuki, Oahu. I am a Kumu hula, which simply means I'm a source of hula which carries on a familial tradition from my ancestors. So I'm a sixth generation Kumu hula, and my grandmother was a Kumu hula. My mom kind of bypassed it. My great-grandmother, and we trace our familial roots to Hana, Maui. And my ancestress, Ulalia Keohe'e, was the first Kumu hula in our family. So Kumu hula literally means the source of hula. It has now become, anytime you hear the word kumu, it means a teacher, but it really refers to them as being the source of information.
So let's nip this right in the bud. In American pop culture, hula isn't often represented seriously.
For most people, hula is a novelty. In today's Western world, or how we've come to view it, it's a novelty. For me and for those of us who come from this kind of upbringing, hula is our way of life. I think the most offensive thing is when someone says, "Oh, you're a hula teacher." It's like, ah, no, I'm not. I'm just me. I am hula. Every fiber of my being is hula. It's a way of life. It's our lifestyle. It's not a light switch that I can flip on and off. It's not something I do. It's not something I go to. It's something I am.
Hula is a way of life, a way of being. Hula, as most of you know, is a dance form. There are related dances throughout the Polynesian islands, but hula was developed in Hawaii and is unique to this place. The dance component of hula is paired with something called mele, which are poems that are recited as chants, songs, and prayers. Those chants were paired with specific movements, and together they contained and reflected a lot of information. Think of it as history written with movement instead of words. Every single movement in the body represents a specific idea or thought or part of nature. Here's Sig Zane. He's a hula dancer, and yes, men dance hula too.
Hula is all about nature. It really is the connection to the forest. It is connection to the land. Through hula, we become connected to place. We really are one with nature.
That connection to the land is seen in the actual movements of the body. A simple hand motion can mean rain, but it can mean so much more than just that.
On the big island of Hawaii, there's a beautiful place called Waimea. It's upcountry, it's close to Mauna Kea, so it's a little bit colder. The rain there is famous. It's called the ki pu'upu'u. It's a sharp, pelting rain. So when a hula dancer talks about the ki pu'upu'u, the hands are going to be here. Whereas for me, I come from some place where the soft rain is soft and misty. So it's a difference. So when I see a dancer, or when a dancer is going to be performing and they're talking about that ki pu'upu'u, and that's what would help the warriors and help to train them to make Kamehameha's warriors stronger, it would be different than somebody that was talking about a fine misty rain here where I'm sitting at. So when somebody who doesn't understand hula sees it, they just say, oh, you know, it's pretty hand motions, because, right, it's lovely hula hands, graceful as the birds in motions. But there's so much more that goes behind hula. The entire part has to do with the language. You have to understand the language to understand what makes hula tick.
The dances and the mele are intricately tied to one another. The dance reflects the poetry and vice versa. On top of that, there's also a lot of importance placed on the tools of hula, like the leis that they wear, which aren't just pretty flowers.
Everything that we put on our body becomes sacred, because for us as Hawaiian, your body is your temple. And so you would only put the best on your living temple. So it's not just you just slap anything together, or you put a plastic flower in your hair. A real hula dancer has a pilina, has a connection to everything in nature. If you were from the ocean, obviously you would use plants, you would use seaweed as your lei, as opposed to greenery that you would find in a forest.
Even that flowery lei that we think of as just a nice touch has so much meaning.
Hula is like an onion. You take off each layer. Every layer gets a little bit juicier until you get to the very core of that onion, ola. And it's a very sweet core. That's what kauna is like. You have to peel off all of those layers to get to what the heart, the spirit of the meaning was. And that's the beauty of hula.
What's truly amazing about this art form is that up until recently, it was kind of hidden.
It went underground, technically around the 1820s with the arrival of the missionaries, because it was something that they didn't understand, you know. So to them it was vulgar, it was lewd, it was too sexual, and so it was so-called banned. And so what happened was, like with any culture, it's never really banned, it just goes underground. So when King Kalākaua and his wife Kapi'olani were then enthroned as the reigning rulers of Hawaii, he brought hula out from the hiding places. He was known as the Merry Monarch. He held himself a huge festival, week-long, where everybody from all the different islands would come and perform. Because of that, he is always heralded as the savior, the Renaissance man for Hawaii.
It continued to thrive, and today it's a visible part of Hawaiian life. In fact, non-Indigenous Hawaiians have also embraced hula. Here's Sig again. Sig is not native Hawaiian, but he was drawn in the very first time he saw it.
I witnessed dances of Pele. So these are the dances, the archaic dances of the volcano goddess, and I was just totally blown away. This family that I was witnessing, they were in their 4th generation of transmitting that same dances that were 300-400 years old, and immediately I became a disciple.
And when I think about hula, and I think about our ancestors, and I think about the generations yet to come, and I think of my role in it, hula is my life. Hula is the breath that connects me to each and every ancestor, and will connect me when I'm far gone and maybe even forgotten in this lifetime. But it will connect me to all of the mamo, all of the descendants that are yet to come. And so that's what hula is for us as a people. It's the breath of our life.